All right, you guys, it is Monday and we're going to be doing some legs and shoulders today. So we're going to start off with some mobility and activation. We're going to go frog reverse hypers. We did this a few weeks ago. Feet are going to be together, okay, as together as they can be. And then from there, you're going to raise as high as you can. Your knees are going to want to collapse in. You're going to try to keep your knees as far apart as possible. And then good connection with your feet. If the entire foot is not a mirror image of each other, just at least keep them connected. And then eventually, right, the goal would be opening up those knees more and then getting the feet flatter. Going as high as you can. That's going to be 3 sets of 15 reps. All right, following your reverse hypers, we are going to build up to a 1 rep max front squat. We've been training legs to lead up for this for the last quite a few Mondays now. All right, so as our usual, right, your front squats, getting a good front rack position first. Focusing on screwing my feet in, core is tight. I'm thinking extension with my upper back, going to full depth. All right, all the way up. So as far as sets and reps goes, like I said, you're building to a 1 rep max. So I might do 5 squats with an empty barbell. Then I will load the bar, probably still do 5 squats again, right? This will be after, all my stretches and activation. Then as I progressively build, I'll do 4 squats, then maybe 3, 2s, and then taper off to 1s. But I can use those numbers in a version of that as I'm building up to get my legs warmed up. All right, for our second couplet, you are going to be doing front rack step-ups. That could be with dumbbells or kettlebells. Just make sure you're in a front rack position. So I'm loaded. I'm not relaxed down through here, or I'm not holding the kettlebells up through here. So it's going to tax your upper body quite a bit more. So you can go with whatever height you want on this one. What I'm looking for is for your top leg to do all the work. And I'm not just flopping down, right? I'm keeping control. So here's what it would look like if my bottom leg helped me, right? You can tell I jumped with my bottom leg or I landed too fast, right? So for today, you're going to be focusing, like I said, front leg is doing all the work. What I like to do is I like to lift my toes off the floor and focus on straightening my down leg because that will ensure I'm not going to spring or use my toes, okay? So if I'm doing a step up and I lock that out and I pick my toes up or only keep the heel into the ground, then I can ensure I'm not going to get any help. All right. So that's going to be 5 sets of 8 per leg. So you're going to do all 8 on one and then all 8 on the other. Okay, you're going to be supersetting your front rack step-ups with single arm upright cable row, okay? This is going to be 5 sets of 10. So you're going to go a little bit on the lighter side because this is an exercise where people really shrug up or they're using their upper traps too much. All right, we know we've talked about using our lower traps, right, and being away from our upper traps all the time, okay? There'll be moments when you do this, but most of the time not as much. So I'm going to think about pulling my shoulders down and back as I'm raising this. So I'm not pulling up like that, making my neck disappear. All right, then I'll just go to the other side. Same thing. To be 10 reps per arm. All right, our last couplet for legs and shoulders is going to be lying side front raises. Okay, so I'm going to be on my side. I can be in fetal position. I can split my legs if I need to. I just want to make sure I'm not like this, all right? So I can have a pillow, a bolster, my arm like here or here, keeping my neck neutral as if I was sitting in a chair. So here's my lying on the side, right? And then also my core with the side position. I'm not letting it like sink into the ground or hike this hip up. I'm adjusting where I can tell my spine is straight and I've engaged my core, okay? So front raises, if I was standing, right, I would just be raising this all the way above my head. So same thing, that's what I'm doing here, keeping it nice and controlled. It's going to want to probably bounce a little bit, right? Some of you might be too low up here or on the way up or on the way down like that. Just think like you're trying to stay in a box, all right? So my hand is going to try to stay even with my shoulder or the height of my shoulder. I'm just going to come down and then up. All right, I'm trying to finish off behind my ears, just like I would, right? If we were doing a plate front raise or a dumbbell front raise and we finish all the way up to the top. So that's what we're doing just on our side. And that's going to be 5 sets of 10 reps. All right, closing out legs and shoulders for Monday. It's going to be cable goblet squats, all right? So I suggest starting a little bit lighter, right? Test out some weights because the focus is to be in proper position. Want to make sure that our chest is as upright as we can, no matter what attachments we're using, whether it's single arm or double arm, okay? So I'm going to get my legs wherever I would for a squat. For this one, I'm just going to grab a little closer together. My chest is nice and tall. It's almost going to feel like I'm holding a D ball as well. So that's another stimulus to think about. All right, making sure it's not dipping me down. And I'm holding it at least somewhere above my shoulders, under my chin. Just a good, strong position, not down here where it's pulling me forward and my upper traps are rolled forward, right? I need to think about using those lower traps, opening up my chest, pulling them down, okay? So my elbows won't be back here. They're gonna be pulled forward a bit more, probably underneath this barbell right around here. And that's gonna be 5 sets of 12 reps. One thing I wanna add is if you are a shorter athlete, you might have to elevate yourself, okay? If this is not wide enough, you can stack some plates on each side, like 45-pound plates, no problem, right? So, because if you're on the shorter side, not for me, but your cable will end up touching here because I would just be lower to the ground, okay? So if you need to elevate yourself because it keeps clanking at the bottom, you can do so with what I mentioned.